What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mike Dolce Show. There we go. Today, we're talking about the cancellation between Jake Paul and Hasim Rahman Jr. for the much anticipated August 6th bout at Madison Square Garden. I mean, the fight capital of the world. They say that's Las Vegas, but truly the Garden is the perennial favorite when it comes to combat sports. Once you've performed at Madison Square Garden, well, you've made it. And unfortunately, this bout was canceled. Now, I have inside information as to exactly what happened behind the scenes, what's been going on for the last few weeks. This matters. Briefly, let me just throw this up. This comes from MVP Promotions, or Most Valuable Promotions. I'm briefly going to read this so you understand what's happening if you're new, and then I'm going to give you the behind the scenes here. So hang with me for a minute. On July 5th, Hasim Rahman Jr. signed a bout agreement to fight Jake Paul on August 6th at Madison Square Garden at a maximum weight of 200 pounds. At the time of signing, Rahman provided evidence of his weight to give comfort to MVP Promotions and the New York State Athletic Commission that he would not be losing more than 10% of his body weight over the 4 weeks up to the fight. Since weighing in at 216 on July 7th, Rahman and his camp have offered assurances after publicly and privately that he was on track to make weight on August 5th, going as far as to provide a signed letter by a recognized nutritionist that his weight cut was progressing without issue, per the New York State Athletic Commission. In the last 48 hours, it has become clear that these assurances were not made in good faith. Now, I'll stop the letter right there. Let's take that away, and let me chat on this a little bit further. So, approximately 1 month before the fight, Hasim Rahman signed the bout agreement saying, yes, I will weigh in at 200 pounds for this bout. Full stop. Now, fight contracts are two-part agreements. Part one is the weight class. Part two is you will show up and fight. That's it. This is one of the easiest contracts in all of negotiations. Weight class, salary, date. That's it. End of story. Rahman agreed. Rahman agreed to 200 pounds. Now, only Rahman and his team know exactly what he weighed, but my inside source told me when Rahman signed that bout agreement, he weighed 230 pounds. He did not weigh the 216 pounds he had stated. That's what my inside source said, and I'd love to hear someone try and prove me wrong on that. Because as I'm going to tell you, this goes further. So Rahman had stated that he weighed 216 pounds on July 7th. My inside source had said Rahman weighed closer to 230 pounds on July 7th, which makes sense because over the next few weeks, Rahman and his camp probably did make an effort to lose weight. So when this week kicked in, and he was asked by the New York State Athletic Commission, which I disagree with, by the way. All of these bureaucrats inside the athletic commissions, they have no idea of weight cutting, of the athletic preparation necessary to get ready. And in fact, these become impediments to the athlete doing their job. That's a video for another day. I'm happy to speak with anyone who works alongside any commissioner, anyone who has a contrary opinion to my own, although very few people have more experience that as I do in working with athletes, getting them ready for weight class oriented competition. But I digress. So on what's today? Today's August 1st. The bout was canceled on July 31st, officially, I believe. Now, I knew as early as, what's the date here? July 1st. I knew as early as the 27th of July that this fight was likely going to be canceled because I have inside information. I understand what's happening. I know the players behind the scenes on both teams in both camps. I'm a very well connected individual inside combat sports, all of pro sports, but especially when it comes to weight cutting. Usually I am the first phone call athletes and promoters and coaches and managers and agents and even commissioners make when discussing weight cutting issues and problems. Dolce, What do you think here? Does this sound right? I get these phone calls all the time. I do not divulge names because I have integrity. But understand, this is what was happening. Mid-late last week, this bout was already in jeopardy. The bout was likely going to be canceled because Rahman did not hold up his end of the bargain, and that's unfortunate. Now, the renowned nutritionist, not renowned, let's see what the term is, a recognized, big difference between being recognized and renowned. Now, the quote, recognized nutritionist, I won't say his name, but he had worked with Mike Perry, who is not known for being very good on the scale. He had worked with Jorge Masvidal, who is not known for being very good on the scale. Both Perry and Masvidal are known to struggle inside their competitions, which does not bode well on the, quote, recognized nutritionist, right? So Rahman hired a, quote, recognized nutritionist that does not seem to be able to deliver the goods. And this matters. As much money as Rahman was going to be making, you would think he would have hired one of the handful of expert nutritionists in the game. But he did not. He hired an individual that already had a very shoddy track record. And as we move forward, this, quote, recognized nutritionist had offered a written statement saying that the weight cut was progressing without issue. Well, it turns out that there were serious issues because on Friday, Rahman submitted a weight check to the New York State Athletic Commission that demonstrated he, in fact, had lost only 1 pound between July 7th and July, what's the date here? 28th. So in 3 weeks, Rahman had only lost 1 pound. That is not a good look. That is not a good indication that you've been making progress. Now, I will say, to only be 15 pounds over a weight class 8 days before the weigh-in, well, that's not a problem at all. Some of you know very famously when I was working with Chael Sonnen weighed over 20 pounds of the weight class limit when he was fighting Anderson Silva while working with me. He made weight no problem and was in tremendous shape. Now, there's a multitude of factors that go into this and how we prepped him for this. This was a part of the plan as we understand how to properly manage and reduce body weight for optimal competition. Unfortunately, Rahman and his team did not have this understanding because here we are. We see what happened. Now, as we move forward, Rahman then had started negotiating to move the weight class from 200 pounds to 205 pounds. To his credit, which Jake Paul agreed. Jake Paul agreed instead of 200 pounds, which we signed the contract. Jake Paul said, fine, I'll give you an extra 5 pounds and move that weight up even more. That was agreed upon. Once that was agreed upon, Rahman and his team came back again and said, no, we want to be 215. Change the weight class to 215. This is when Jake Paul and his team stepped in and said, nope, F you. You do not dictate terms here. We dictate terms. No money for you. And Jake took that bag from Rahman. So as this goes, now I don't know Rahman. I think he's a nice guy. I have nothing bad to say about him. His father's a legend. Nothing bad to say. Although from a professional perspective, shame on you, Rock. Shame on you. You signed on the dotted line to be 200 pounds. Full stop. That's the end of the story. You signed to be 200 pounds. You could not make 200 pounds. You shit the bed. Full stop. You blew the fight. You cannot get mad at Jake Paul for saying, fight at the weight class you signed for the big payday. I believe this was going to be by far the biggest payday in Rahman's career. Jake Paul then went on and said, fine, I'm going to give you an extra 5 pounds. Now, Jake Paul usually weighs somewhere in the low 90s, 190s. Jake Paul was already going to be giving up almost 10 pounds at the 200-pound weight cap. Now he's going to be giving up 15 pounds at the 205 weight cap. Rahman was then pushing to be 25 pounds heavier on the scale, which means Rahman likely would have been closer to 230 pounds in the ring. And Rahman is pushing back, saying that this is Jake Paul's fault. It's not Jake Paul's fault. If it were Jake Paul's fault, I would be on here right now blaming Jake Paul, but nobody is more connected inside the world of combat sports weight management than I. I know people in both camps. I know the commissioners. I know everybody behind the scenes. I know exactly what happened here. And I'm telling you what happened. Rahman wet the bed on this one. He signed the contract to fight at 200 pounds. He and his team could not get it done. Jake Paul shouldn't even have allowed going up to 205. He should have said 200 or bust. Take it or leave it. End of story. And that's the way it should have gone down. So that's the real deal. That's what really happened, my friends. Stevie says, I can't wait for Mike's thought on this. I know he has the inside information on these things. Boom. Thank you. Amir. Let's see. Still on the first bonus week, so I'm not concerned. Yep. Amir, just keep cranking. Amir is following our 3 weeks to shredded program. If you are interested, click the link below this. The #1 weight management program is available online in a totally personalized format. Click the link below to go to thedolcediet.com and use that discount code to start your own version of 3 weeks to shredded. You want to cut weight, you want to feel great, you want to know exactly what world-class athletes do to get ready. Rahman, you should have signed up for the DolceDiet.com, by the way, my man. You would have made weight no problem. You would have made weight no problem, and I even would have given you the 20% discount code by clicking the link below. Jesse Lee, congratulations, my man. MMA fighter, kickboxer, combat athlete. Jesse Lee just kicked butt. 50-second KO in his professional kickboxing debut. Much thanks to the Dolce Diet and 3 weeks to shredded. He walked in on weight at 155 easy and fought an opponent who weighed in at 167. Big fights coming soon. I'm proud of you, brother. Adam, what I know about MMA weight cuts, he should have been able to cut the 10 pounds without much struggle. No struggle at all. It should have been easy. I've noticed boxers in general are pretty novice or not knowledgeable when it comes to weight cutting. Maybe it's the lack of experience with wrestling. It could be, but you're right. Boxers are terrible weight cutters, which is crazy because boxing has been around much longer than mixed martial arts. Boxing culturally is amongst the worst weight cutters in all of combat sports. Boxers do not know how to cut weight properly. Boxers are horrendous. Boxers will routinely be in the gym a week before competition wearing plastics and hoodies and sweatshirts, working out to, quote, cut weight, not realizing as soon as they have a sip of water, that weight comes right back on. Boxers notoriously chew on their steak so they can swallow the juice, then spit the steak out. Boxers notoriously have terrible weight cutting tendencies. Chael Sonnen and Mike Dolce have the same exact view, of course, because we are both the two most educated, the two most experienced, the two most honest individuals in the sport of combat, or in combat sports, specifically with regards to weight cutting. Chael Sonnen has been an expert weight cutter, cutting down from over 220 some odd pounds to make 185. Jake Paul should have asked Chael Sonnen to take this fight. Chael Sonnen would have taken off his very expensive suit, his very expensive socks, his very expensive shoes, would have been able to make weight, step on the scale, and go out there and perform like a champion on 1 day's notice, no doubt. Chael Sonnen would have been the fight to have made. Amir, is it possible to do home workouts along with MMA training and do 3 weeks of shredded? Absolutely, it is. Everybody should click that link below to learn more about the Dolce Diet, our 3 weeks to shredded program, which was designed for world-class mixed martial artists getting ready to make weight and then perform at their very best. 3 weeks to shredded was designed to lose 21 pounds in 21 days. And thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people around the world have done so and continue to do so. Join the thousands of people around the world who are active members on the site right now at thedolcediet.com. Click that link below to learn more. Fangs, are they bad weight cutters because they have so many weight classes, and when they try to go down too many classes, they just don't know what to do? No, they're bad weight cutters because they don't know what to do, period. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the discipline. They don't have the coaching. They don't seek it out. They very much use old wives' tales. I love boxing. I love the sport of boxing. Now, I've worked with Sean Porter. I've worked with Andre Berto. I've worked with Felix Sturm. I've worked with Josecito Lopez. I've worked with some of the greatest boxers on the planet. And I believe I've been instrumental in totally changing the way they approach weight cuts. I know for a fact I have completely changed their whole thought process. I understand this. Amir, can you explain more about the inner circle? So the inner circle is access to behind the scenes inside information you will not hear anywhere else, totally unfiltered. You can join the inner circle right now at thedolcediet.com. I strongly recommend you do. And you can actually have private communications, private conversations with myself and other members of the inner circle. You will literally hear information you will not hear anywhere else inside the inner circle. I have been banned and shadow banned and censored on every major social media platform for speaking the honest truth, scientifically validated and vetted, that goes contrary to what public opinion is. Therefore, we created the inner circle so I can tell you guys exactly what I think on every single topic without fear of repercussion. You want to be a member of the inner circle to get firsthand information of what's really happening in the health and fitness, nutrition, and fighting game. Go to thedolcediet.com to learn more and to join up. All right, guys and gals, I'm going to shut this broadcast here. I appreciate each and every one of you. Definitely click the link below. Check out our sponsors, Casandrino's Extra Virgin Olive Oil, Marek Health, Certified Piedmontese. You want to be a part of these companies. You want the products and services that they offer. We very rarely endorse any products or services. The links below, these are the top tier companies on the planet, the only ones I trust in my household and to recommend to you. So this is something that is a benefit to you inside of our community. Click those links below and definitely check out thedolcediet.com for tons of great information. Until next time, boom.